Professor Elly Katunguka has been in charge of Kyambogo University as Vice-Chancellor for the last 7 years. During an interview with UBC TV, the professor narrated his way to the position of Vice-Chancellor of Kyambogo University.
So 2014 I come here as a Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic Affairs. It also happened there was no Vice-Chancellor because Ndiege had been forced out of office, or his term had also expired. So the position of Vice-Chancellor was also vacant. So the Minister of Education then, Honorable Lupo, convened a meeting and said that position cannot remain vacant. So I was appointed acting Vice-Chancellor at the same time.
At the time of his appointment, the Vice-Chancellor recounts how Kyambogo University lacked good policies to match academic dynamism.
One, people could get promoted depending on whether the Vice-Chancellor was your friend or not. But we developed policies on how people are recruited, how they are retained in the university, and how they are dismissed from the university.
Improving students and staff welfare was his main goal, and it has registered reasonable enrollment and success.
And members of staff have understood this, and that has created a lot of peace. We introduced an insurance scheme. Kyambogo University is the only university with a comprehensive insurance scheme, which covers 4 members, I think 2 members of the family, hopefully a man and a wife, and then 4 of the other children.
The competitive research scheme introduced during his reign has given the university a new face in the East African academic space. This is evidenced by the increasing experts produced by this hill of technocrats.
So we must start doing research. There was no capacity to do research. So we started on an ambitious program to build research capacity, which I think we have done. And then having built their capacity, we had to look for money for them to do research. So I introduced a competitive research scheme, a competitive research grant scheme. That's where members of staff write grants and they compete for the money.
Elimination of strikes and sophisticated conflict resolution enabled Professor Katunguka move through ups and downs of managing university dons.
Before I came here, strikes were the order of the day, both by staff, both teaching and non-teaching, and then students. And I think since I came, we have engaged all these groups of people to make sure that teaching and learning is not disrupted. And that has endeared the university to many people outside. In addition, we have resisted the temptation to hike tuition fees. Our tuition fees remain fairly low.
In his reign, the university has improved on infrastructure by erecting new buildings to facilitate learning.
A lot on infrastructure. If you see around, there's a lot of improvement on infrastructure. We used to have shortage of space for lectures where students could sit, shortage of chairs. But if you look around now, we have new structures, spacious ones, thanks to the government through the ADB project.
In his new term of office, Professor Katunguka is optimistic to leverage on ICT to match other academic institutions.
Every institution must have adequate ICT infrastructure, especially to improve our e-learning. We have learning centers we have created, one in Soroti and one in Ushenyi. We want to develop capacity where we can teach these students simultaneously. The lecturer sits here in Kyambogo and teaches students in Soroti and the students in Ushenyi who are taking the same program. That will cut down the cost of moving people up and down.
Katunguka believes public universities working in isolation retards the speed of academic transformation by creating unnecessary competition.
When I came in 2014, there was a group that did not want somebody from Makerere. They felt Kyambogo Makerere should stay there. There is this institutional competition, which I have tried to discourage. I would want institutions to collaborate rather than compete.
Professor Elly Katunguka is the 3rd Vice-Chancellor of Kyambogo University since 2001, when the institute was elevated to the university status. Abdul Nasir Luwama for UBC.